This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
All right. Good morning. With Choice Woodman is in for Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. It is the Morning Drive on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. We get this. Oh my God, I'm rolling. Thanks for the laugh, Chuck. Love the show for moments like this. You're welcome. And it's all organic. It's not planned, right? It just kind of happens.
I don't think you can plan those names.
It's organic. I mean, what's kind of comes into my head sometimes comes out of my mouth, and it's not always, maybe well thought out or
accurate,
or it's semi-accurate. I mean, there were parts of what I had to say was accurate.
You got the right letter for the first name, and you got the right sound for the second name,
and I had the storyline right. For the most part.
Sure.
Yeah, the storyline right.
Jordan, do you know why Mufasa goes away?
Yeah, because he got killed.
Okay.
By Scar.
You got it. Yeah,
by Scar. Yeah, I know that.
Who is Scar?
His brother.
There you go.
Mustafa's brother. Yeah.
No, still missed it.
Mustafa.
No, still Mufasa.
Mufasa. Whatever. Jordan says this. Chuck strikes me as a guy who considers consulting a professional as talking to himself. Yes, Jordan, I think you pretty much nailed it. There are times when I do talk to myself, and I feel like that consultation goes well. It's like it's like after I've been out and about and I make a cold call on somebody and it's a positive response and it's a business I've driven by 1,000 times, and then I say to myself, you dumb blank, all you got to do is make blanking calls and you'll make blanking sales. And you know what? Then that helps me kind of for the rest of the day.
Okay.
And so yes,
So a pep talk with...
I'm a professional, okay? And then I talk to myself and I self-analyze and maybe sometimes I self-medicate. I wondered this too. This question is: Woodman wearing his K-State purple just for Chuck?
This isn't purple. This is lavender.
Well, they wear lavender.
It may have crossed my mind when I was putting it on this morning, Chuck.
They do wear that lavender.
They might. Yeah. So now I don't mind the lavender, but there's not a worse look out there than the purple lavender. The purple tops. No. When they split, one was lavender and one was purple, it was an awful look.
That's an old school 70s Kansas State basketball.
Just because something's a throwback doesn't mean it was good back then.
Sure, I agree.
And that goes for some other uniforms out there too.
Sure. All right, so let me continue kind of what we were talking about right before the break in terms of. You made great case for Iowa State that would really help Texas Tech in terms of the bowl, and I don't want you to have to leave on Christmas. So
it's not. I
realize it's not about you, but I'm going to make it about you because that's
I do think
rule number 4.
So just to explain a little further, if people don't quite get it, I think these contracts run through this year and maybe another year after this, but for sure through this year these Pac-12 contracts. So
associations, right?
Yes, associations. So if you land outside of the college football playoff, any team that was in the Pac-12 last year goes to a Pac-12 affiliated bowl. Any team that's in the Big 12 or the 14 from last year, I guess 12 from last year, goes to a Big 12 bowl. So that's how we could get a matchup.
Does that affect Texas and Oklahoma too?
I don't think so. I think it was just because the Pac-12 lost everybody.
Okay. And I don't think that's really walking around knowledge that everybody has, because I certainly didn't know that.
It wasn't broadcast. It's been. I think this has been the case since.
Yeah, I'm not saying anybody's hidden it. I'm just saying that I think casual Joe fan out there didn't really know that, didn't understand, because I didn't.
So I think likely you're going to get Colorado and BYU in the Alamo Bowl regardless, because that's an attractive matchup with two fan bases that will show up or watch.
And they didn't play each other.
No, and they didn't play each other. So there's a Pac-12 versus a Big 12, even though they're both Big 12 schools. But how it would affect Texas Tech if Iowa State wins, that elevates everybody in the league to whatever the next bowl is up. And we know it doesn't go necessarily in that order because Arizona State's going to have to go to another Pac-12 bowl. And so say Iowa State wins, they're in the college football playoff, then that basically leaves the Pop-Tarts Bowl, the Liberty Bowl, and the Texas Bowl for the next 3 teams that were all 6-3, and that's Texas Tech, Baylor, and TCU. So you sort those out, and you probably don't end up in the right bowl.
Okay,
probably.
So don't you think then at that point in time, then it becomes a fight with those 3 schools with the Texas Bowl in terms of who can sell the most tickets?
Well, technically, the Pop-Tarts Bowl is next up, so they get to pick who they want ahead of the Texas Bowl.
Who do you
Texas
think
Bowl is behind the Liberty Bowl. It's the third of the 3.
Oh, okay. So who do you think?
So I think they're probably happy with whomever they get because you're likely to get a Texas school out of it.
So who do you think the Pop-Tarts Bowl looks at? Do they look at who's going to travel the best to Orlando?
I don't know if they look at that. They usually try to get the Pop-Tarts Bowl has been a pretty attractive matchup in recent years. So I don't know who would end up there. It could be a Clemson or an SMU even if they lose out. Or lose in the championship game and fall out. So I'm not certain who would end up in that situation, but it'll be interesting to watch. It could be a Miami even, Chuck, if they miss out on the...
Boy, those people are going to be Billy Better.
They wouldn't be too happy, but you're going to get a good ACC team. Now, what does the Pop-Tarts Bowl want? Do they want Texas Tech, or do they want a Baylor team that's won 6 in a row? Or do they want TCU because they were a shiny object 2 years ago? So I would guess Tech is not going to be selected for the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
And don't you think that because you have been to the Liberty Bowl recently that's not going to be as attractive to the Liberty Bowl? Or
you've been to the Texas Bowl more recently.
Yeah, but
I know Texas is in Texas, and you're going to get a great showing there, especially against an SEC team.
And you had and the matchup with obviously what took place with the Liberty Bowl last time with Mississippi State and playing Mike Leach. I mean, there was passion and everything that went into that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so Georgia, Texas, who are you rooting for there? Georgia?
Yeah.
Penn State, Oregon, who are you rooting for there?
I guess Oregon.
Okay, then Clemson, SMU. Clemson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
No SMU.
Yeah. Well, they're a really good team.
They are a good team, and I want them to lose.
Okay.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is the 6th day of December, 2024. Excuse me. With this day in sports history, here is Jeff McGuire.
1925, 73,000 people paid to watch the Chicago Bears beat the New York Giants 19-7. That would be a record.
Okay.
Fast forward to 1960, Major League Baseball American League grants the American entertainer and businessman Gene Autry a franchise.
The Singing Cowboy.
Would you guys like to guess which franchise he was granted?
Oh, it's the California Angels.
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, California, West Coast, Northern Hemisphere, Earth. Third rock from the sun.
Right.
Milky Way galaxy.
They
I'm making sure I'm getting them all in because otherwise we get sued.
I think they played their first few seasons at the Coliseum, too.
1992, San Francisco wide receiver Jerry Rice catches the NFL record 101st touchdown in a 27-3 win over the Miami Dolphins at Candlestick Park. 2003, in the 8th Big 12 championship game, number 13 Kansas State beats number 1 Oklahoma 35-7. In 2007, Texas Tech's Michael Crabtree wins the first of his back-to-back Biletnikoff Awards, honoring the top receiver in college football. 2018, Tennessee Titan running back Derrick Henry explodes for a franchise record 238 yards and 4 touchdowns in a 30-9 win over Jacksonville in Nashville. He had a 99-yard touchdown run, which ties Dallas Cowboys Hall of Famer and running back Tony Dorsett's longest run in NFL history. This just in, Derrick Henry pretty good at running the football. and has been for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted him. Before he showed off this year.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, this guy's sitting here. This would be a great running back.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2020, Kyler Edwards recorded his first double-double of his career with 13 points and 11 rebounds. And number 17, Texas Tech, went on for an 81-40 non-conference win over Grambling State.
We forget about old Kyler Edwards, don't we, sometimes? He was a pretty good hand for you. And then he left.
He was among coaching changes, departures, right? So I don't hold it over him as much as some in the portal era, but I wish he would have been able to have him another year or two.
Happy National Gazpacho Day.
Gazpacho.
I'm not really a fan of that.
Before we get to today's birthdays, got a couple of good ones on Sunday.
Okay.
Matt Hicks turned 63.
Matt Hicks from the Rangers?
That would be the Matt Hicks I'm discussing,
Okay.
yes.
I thought he was younger than that. Okay.
Well, he is today. He's only 62 today.
He's been with the Rangers for 12 years, 13 years now?
I thought he was a little younger than that. I think he has a relatively young child.
Does he?
And
doesn't mean that you can't, prolificate, at 63 or 64.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe Filani turns 41 on Sunday.
Joe, where is he now?
I don't
know. But today,
I like him.
Johnny Manziel turns 32 and Sarah Rafferty is 52.
I wonder if Johnny Manziel's got any money left.
I'm going to say yes because he keeps doing these documentaries and making money off of that.
Yeah.
He probably spent it on blow, but, Joe Filani currently at Northern Iowa as the offensive coordinator.
Okay.
There you go.
Good for him. He is good people, though. I think.
And on this day, 1941, President Roosevelt, convinced of on basis of intelligence, reports that the Japanese fleet is headed to Thailand and not the United States. Telegrams Emperor Hirohito and the request, for the sake of humanity, the Emperor intervene to prevent further death and destruction to the world. Meanwhile, 600 miles northwest of Hawaii, Admiral Yamamoto, commander of the Japanese fleet, announced to his men, "The rise or fall of the empire depends upon this battle. Everyone will do his duty with the utmost efforts." Thailand was, in fact, a bluff. Pearl Harbor in Hawaii was confirmed as his target.
Yeah.
After the Japanese consult in Hawaii had reported to Tokyo that a significant portion of the U.S. Pacific Fleet would be anchored in the harbor. Sitting ducks. The following morning, Sunday, December 7th, would be a good day to raid. And that, this day in sports history.
Stay in sports history. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Matt Hicks' son is not so young. Apparently, his son Nathaniel is a student in the School of Dramatic Arts at the University of Southern California. It's a good place to be if you want to be an actor.
That's not a young son.
No, his daughter lives in Virginia. Apparently, he and his wife enjoy Top Golf, Skip Bow, and live theater.
There you go.
Skip Bow.
Skip Bow is a great game. Love it.
What is it?
It's a card game.
Oh, it's a card game.
You can play it with real cards, too.
Oh, I'm thinking of the skip, the thing that you had to do, like
Hopscotch?
the hopscotch, where it was like on your leg and you had to spin it.
That's funny. No, Skip Bow's the game. It's just a card game. It's fun.
I was thinking of Skip Bow like when you throw at the
Horseshoes?
No, where you throw the little ball and it goes up at the
Skee ball.
Skee ball.
Skee ball.
Skee
Okay.
ball is what I was thinking about.
So skee ball, hopscotch.
No, it's not hopscotch. It's where it was this plastic thing that came out in the 80s that you'd hook it to one foot, and then
okay, I got you.
and you'd have to like try to keep it spinning around your leg and you jumping over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think it was called Skip Bow.
Was it?
Did you guys ever play tetherball as kids? Did you have a tetherball in your neighborhood at all?
We had one at Hillcrest Elementary down the road, and yeah.
Did you ever have? None of the neighbors had one.
No.
Okay.
No. Actually, my mother-in-law had one at her place for our kids.
Is this the one that has all the animals?
She does. Yeah. She used to live out in Stephenville, and she had one there. I don't think she still has it.
Did she move onto your property? Did you build? You have a compound. You have a
no. She lives out
family compound there.
She lives out in the shallow water area now.
And she hires you to, or employs
He doesn't have
you,
room for her. He's got the helicopter pad in the backyard.
You've got her. She has you come out and shoot snakes, right?
I don't shoot them. I step on their head and cut their head off, but I'm not going to waste a bullet on a rattlesnake.
Jordan says it's called Skip It.
Skip it. Okay, there you go.
Okay, Skip It. 6:52 this morning.
You know, you throw enough darts, you're going to hit the target at one point.
That's kind of how this show goes. You throw enough things at it, and sooner or later we get it right.
There you go.
Yeah, sooner or later. All right. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that of the mobile app. The Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. I see where Bill Belichick interviews for the North Carolina job. I can't imagine North Carolina would seriously consider him, considering that they said to Mac Brown, hey, and he was 73.
You're too old.
Why are they going to? I mean, why are they going to hire a 72-year-old surly Bill Belichick, who has a 24-year-old girlfriend?
He's like the mean version of Mac Brown.
I mean, it's right. It's just like this. This guy's it's like the oddest thing ever.
I don't know.
I mean, I think he's going to be coaching somewhere again. I think
in the NFL.
I think it's going to be in the NFL, right?
With the Dallas Cowboys next year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's smoke to that fire. I don't know if it's ever going to fully light, though.
I just feel like that they're going to go get themselves they're going to go Oppo, and they're going to have somebody that's in their late 40s, maybe even early 40s that's going to...
You're talking about North Carolina?
Yeah, that's going to have Carolina ties, and they're going to go hire one of them and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think they do go get a younger guy.
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting interview there.
Somebody says this, Skip-Bo was invented in Brownfield by a lady named Minnie Hazel Bowman.
That is true, yes.
Good for her.
It was
That's awesome.
in Brownfield.
Yeah.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Choice Woodman is in for Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We will have college football in the air tonight. Up first, it is the AAC, American Athletic Championship, featuring Army and Tulane. That'll be at 6 here on Double T 97.3. And then tonight at 6:30, it's the Mountain West with Boise State and UNLV. And then tomorrow you've got in order the Big 12, the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 10. How much of these games tomorrow are on your agenda? Are all of them on your agenda? Just a couple of them? What's it look like for you tomorrow with these games?
Well, tomorrow I'll be, somewhere in Fort Worth, so we'll be bouncing around places. But if I'm in front of a TV, I love Championship Saturday. So, and especially this particular one. There's years where you got 17-point favorites and you've got massive differences in championship games. This is the best championship game Saturday in terms of anticipated competitiveness that I can remember. I think every game is inside of a 5-point line. I think you really could make an argument for each of the 4 Power 4 championships going either direction, and would not be surprising at all.
Yeah, actually, it's under 4.
Under 4 for everything?
Yeah, because Arizona's favored by 2, Texas by 2.5, Oregon by 3.5, and SMU by 2. And then tonight it's Tulane by 5 and Boise State by 4.
So Arizona State's the favorite in that game?
Yeah.
I think the loss of Jordan Tyson
it's huge.
Is bigger than people are making it out to be.
Yeah.
He is their top dog receiver. When you lose a 1,000-yard receiver, that's a big deal because you don't have to respect the passing game as much, and you can key on Cam Scatterbo more. So that's why I think Iowa State will win the football game.
All right, that leads me, Cam Scatterbo, to how big is your outrage that Taj Brooks didn't make it to the first team All Big 12?
It was pretty large, but spended most of my outrage yesterday.
So you have nothing left for us?
Oh, I can still gripe. I just don't know how much people want to hear it. I think people aren't paying.
Is it an atrocity?
It's hard because the two guys that are there, and ahead of Taj Brooks, have really good numbers.
Cam Skattebo of Arizona State and R.J. Harvey from UCF.
Both of those guys have really good numbers, but I also think you're not paying attention close enough if you're not putting Taj Brooks ahead of at least one of those guys. And I think
because of everything that he can do, the all-purposeness of him.
Because not just the all-purpose. I think it's about the most consistent running back that you've had in this league. I mean, he's the only guy in this conference and one of two in the country that ran for 100 yards in every single game this year. Every single game they played. So, and Taj's totals are comparable to both of those guys when each of them played in 12 games, while Taj played in 11.
Why do you think? Why do you think he didn't make it? And so, in your mind, who's the one that you look at and go, Taj should have been above him? Is it the UCF guy more so than Skattebo?
I guess I would put Taj ahead of R.J. Harvey more. He's got more touchdowns, but I would put him ahead because it's one less game and they're basically the same yardage. But the reason I wouldn't say Skattebo necessarily is because the guy's got, 500 or 600 receiving yards too. Yeah. So he was used a lot in the passing game more. It's hard.
Who made a bigger impact for his team, do you think? Taj or R.J. Harvey?
Taj, because Taj absolutely elevated you to wins.
Absolutely.
Harvey,
that's kind of what I figured.
Harvey played on a 4-8 team.
Right.
And they would have been even worse without him, but we would have been closer to 4-8 than we would have 8-4 without Taj. You definitely lose more games. I feel that way. I mean, we saw the one game without him, and it made a massive impact. Mm-hmm. I just don't know. It's just frustrating because I think, Chuck, a couple things may factor in here. One is Taj is not a flashy guy. Skattebo's not super flashy either. Harvey is. He's not an Ollie Gordon, but Taj is a workhorse. And I think that isn't as sexy. It's not as fun to vote on. Mm-hmm. So that's probably what plays against him, and he's not a look-at-me guy either.
You can't really say he's one of these guys that's a great quote. Or
he's a nose-down type of guy, and get the work done and be a team guy. So I think that's part of what plays against Taj. The other part is you have 16 teams in the league, and not everybody plays everybody. So you got guys voting that never saw Taj this year, and there's a whole lot of coaches in this league that don't watch a single game outside of games you're going to play against. So
I'd say probably like all of them.
So BYU's coach, Kalani Sitake, there's a pretty good chance he never even saw Taj Brooks this year because there's not really a reason to, because the only time they would face him was in a Big 12 championship game, which they don't play. So I think that really hurts your league and hurts your voting in situations like this. The other thing I have outrage for is, why do we have 5 defensive backs on the first All Big 12 first team, and we have 2 running backs? And why the heck do we still have a fullback on there in today's football?
Yeah, that is a great question.
You have 4 teams, basically. Jared Casey from Kansas gets the fullback award. The vast majority of Big 12 fans could not name a single fullback in this league.
We certainly don't have a fullback.
You have basically 4 teams out of 16 that use a fullback. Maybe 5.
With regard to the defensive backs, you can make the case of two corners.
It's fine.
A safety and a free safety, but
it's not about.
And then the what do they call the Tech has a
nickel. It's a Raider is what Tech calls it.
Yeah, but there's another
star.
There you go. That's the word I was looking for.
So I think there's. Yeah, it's not about how inclusive the DBs are. I'm not knocking that. I'm saying if you're going to be that inclusive and have 5 first-team guys on DB, why don't you have 3 running backs? Kill the fullback and put a third running back in there, because this league is absolutely worthy of it. I don't know. It is an absolute farce that Taj Brooks is not looked at as one of the top 2 running backs in this league. He should be a top 3 running back in the country, and he's not looked at as one of the top 2 in this league. It's silliness. It is. And it's guys that don't pay attention, whether it's coaches voting on this that aren't paying attention to your entire league, or whether it's SIDs voting on this.
Well, you have, and to make your point, you have 3 wide receivers listed, and you have 2 tight ends listed, in addition to the fullback position. So I mean, you got 14 guys. You can only play 11. Last I looked.
Right. I know it's not just a 11-man roster that you're putting out there. So you might as well throw in a third running back.
Let me ask you this: were you outraged by Will Ferrin at BYU being the place kicker versus Gino Garcia?
Outraged, not as much, because the numbers are similar, but Gino's percentage was higher, and it wasn't way off.
Does
on
Ferrin
the total
kick off too?
I don't know, to be honest. I would guess, but I don't know.
That might have hurt. That might have hurt.
Gino had 19 attempts total. Ferrin had 24 attempts. Gino missed 1 kick, and Ferrin missed 3.
54-yarder for Gino.
Yeah. Missed 1, missed 3. So I still think Gino was more deserving. Mm-hmm. If he would have kicked all of the kicks all year, I think there's a pretty good chance Gino gets it. But again, it's teams not seeing everybody in the league, and that has an effect on the voting.
Yeah. All right, somebody has a question of the day next here this morning on the Morning Drive. Do you have a question?
I do.
Okay. Choice has the question of the day next for us on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3. You can continue to weigh in. Get your brain empty before the weekend on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It's presented by Happy State Bank.
This is the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3, presented today by someone not named Jamie, is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, Chuck, Jeff, our fine listening audience. For today's question, I need you to pull up the All Big 12 awards. All Big 12 teams that they released yesterday. And I want you...
Where are they listening from today? Like, you always give this on the bottom line. Like, Poughkeepsie, what weird town today are they tuned in to us from?
Well, I don't know where they are. I'm just saying you can listen if you're in tropic Utah.
Okay, nice. I like that.
God, it's very tropic this time of year.
Okay, All Big 12 team.
If you take a look at your All Big 12 team, we're going first team here only. Mm-hmm. I want you to take one offensive player and one defensive player, not from Texas Tech, and put them on Texas Tech's team. The player that you think would most help you win more games this year on either side of the ball.
Okay.
So anybody from anywhere else on the All Big 12 first teams.
Well, for me, I think I'm going to take 2 Colorado players. I'm going to take Shedeur Sanders at quarterback because I think he's terrific. I think he makes your team different. And then I'm going to take Travis Hunter. I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit because Travis Hunter is the best player in college football. But guess what? He can also play on offense, and Shedeur Sanders really likes throwing the ball to him. And, oh, by the way, Travis Hunter is really good at defending the pass as a defensive back and can really help your defense be a whole lot better. So 2 players equals 3 equals maybe 2 more wins for the Red Raiders.
One on each side of the ball? I'm just making sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will take the Offensive Lineman of the Year, Wyatt Millum from West Virginia, on your offensive side, because making that better makes Taj Brooks and Baron Morton better. And then, just to be consistent, I'm going to go with Brandon Mott. You don't know who he is. He is the Defensive Lineman of the Year, senior out of Kansas State, defensive end. What do defensive ends do? They get after the other team's quarterback. What did we not do? Protect our quarterback or get after the other team's quarterback very well. We got better at the end of the year. I don't need defensive backs to cover for 5 seconds if my defensive end can get there in 3. So that's where we're going.
Okay.
That's pretty good, Jeff.
All right. I'm going to take a little bit of both of you guys. I will also go with Wyatt Milam of West Virginia. I think he's going to be a first-round draft pick. I think you could have picked a number of guys. There's a few other guys on the offensive line, but I want an offensive lineman. And I think one really good offensive lineman could have helped you this year be even better. I know you want to...
2 would have even been better.
2, 3, yeah, it would
5.
be great. But I would take Wyatt Milam, and then I'm going to take Travis Hunter. It's hard not to take the most talented player in college football. I don't think he's the best player in college football. I think he's the most talented.
Is he the Heisman Trophy winner?
Probably, because it's a popularity contest a lot of times. I think Ashton Genty's more deserving, personally. And I think he's the best player in college football. Best running back we've seen in a long time as far as numbers and dominance. But you do factor in the league he plays in, and he doesn't take the beating that other people take. So I get it. But, I'm taking Travis Hunter. You really could have used some depth at DB and some experience at DB a little bit more this year. So would have been fine with that. And then offensive line. Got to get better there. So Milam would have been my pick.
Okay.
There you go.
Right,
Who else did you consider?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
If you wouldn't have gone with the 2 Colorado guys. Jared Casey, fullback from Kansas. Is that the one?
No. I couldn't have given you his name if you'd asked me who the fullback was at Kansas. I couldn't have told you that.
I mean, I guess Hunter you get to use on both sides of the ball, so that's
right.
That's a little cheating.
Well,
he could have
you
been
asked me. You said
no. I said it too, but I mean, I was looking at him as a DB, but man, as a receiver, he would have been a nice addition.
Yeah. Not that your receiving core was poor, because I think your receiving core was really good. I mean, your receiving core was outstanding. I probably would have picked an offensive lineman. I think Jeff makes a really good point there, especially and then on the defensive side as well, because I think people forget with regard to defense. And look, I'm not trying to make an excuse for how the defense played this year. You had a ton of injuries on the defense. And starting off with, your edge rushers, from your leading edge rusher day 1 of practice or day 2, gets injured and out for the year, and then you lose another one, then you lose another one, and then all of a sudden Harvey Dyson can't play, and Charles Esters III can't play until week 4 or 5, and you have, Lusk go down, for several games and be dinged up, and that game against TCU, he didn't play in that game against TCU, did he? Because you had.
Braylon Lux, he started the game, but he came out for the game. You had several guys exit that game, so you ended up with Macho Stevenson as your main corner, and he got burned twice.
Yeah, and so, I mean, if he doesn't get burned twice, if Braylon Lux is in there.
He's a redshirt freshman, so, like, your youth hurts you at times. I'm hoping the experience from it this year helps you in the future. But
so that's why I have I mean, and you don't win the Iowa State game without your defense.
Sure you don't. Yeah.
And the same thing with Arizona State.
There were defensive days that were good for you. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say your defense went and won you games like it did at times last year.
I'd say Iowa State
would be the closest thing to it.
And then the way you stopped, there were numbers. Your red zone stops this year were really big. And you gave up some explosives.
The defensive numbers are inflated like crazy because of the number of big plays, but those big plays count.
No doubt. And I think Coach McGuire is frustrated with the defense because he considers himself a defensive guy.
Yep, I agree.
And prides himself on his teams playing better defense. Well, I would just say to him, Coach, go get yourself better players. And I think that's probably what he's going to try to do. And obviously the scheme, maybe with the new guy, will be different. We know this. We've been through enough defensive coordinators. We know what we're going to hear. Well, we're going to make it simpler so the guys don't have to react. We're going to go out and get faster, stronger, bigger, better, blah, 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 blah. Okay? I guess what I would say is, I just want to show me.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Thank you for being with us today. With Choice Woodman, who's in for Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. Great to have you with us as well. You can chime in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, or the mobile app. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. Okay. Hey, congratulations to Maria Swan. She won $2,500 from us last night from Double T 97.3 in the Home Zone, making your house a home as part of our Lucky Local Word contest. All she had to do was sign up last night, and she did, and she won $2,500.
She did.
Congratulations to her. And she got paid cash on the barrelhead. I witnessed it last night. I actually had to sign the form that witnessed her getting the $2,500. So
that's pretty awesome.
I know, that's cool. I mean,
she actually won twice last night.
I know, her name was drawn twice last night.
She got the like $100 Amazon gift card. I think the first drawing and then the last drawing we did last night.
Good for her.
Yeah, awesome for her.
$2,500.
Very glad she got it.
So we had a great event last night at Two Docks, and if you didn't make it, we missed you. If you were there and I didn't get to talk to you, then I'm sorry. Okay.
How many autographed business cards were handed out?
I gave one business card out.
Gave one, but it wasn't autographed.
It was not autographed.
Man.
I did see Sneed was there last night. He and Mrs. Sneed were there last night.
Sneed was there.
Mr. and Mrs. Gus was there. Clint Scott was there. Brandon Riker was there. You were there. Jeff was there. Trying to think if there's anybody else there from this side of the
From the sports
aisle.
side, I don't know that.
I think that was it.
I think that was our contingent.
We didn't have a Rob Bro sighting last night.
I know.
A little disappointed.
He
about
gave
that.
me a solid maybe that he was showing up, and he didn't show up.
Maybe. Okay. Maybe.
It's a deal, bro.
I don't know. Hey, bro. I like. What's the deal, bro?
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh, I like to use that on him a lot.
Do you?
I'm probably not the only one.
That's tricky like that. Somebody asks if New Home is still playing. Nope. They're not. Somebody says Go Shally. Somebody says Lubbock Christian still playing. Okay.
You forgot to cheer when you said New Home's not playing, Chuck.
I'm not cheering against them.
Oh, okay.
I'm with Choice. It's a fair generalization to say students if it comes out of the students section, Chuck. I'm just telling you, man, I'm going to stick up for the students because I get tired of the students being labeled as the ones that are the bad deed doers at Jones Stadium, because it's the townies too. It's the townies that say the words wrong to the school song. It's the townies that wad up tortillas and throw them out on the field and try to hit the other team's helmets. It's the townies that also throw water bottles. It's the townies that have misbehavior.
You're anti-tortilla, right?
I am.
Okay.
I'm anti-throwing of anything.
Tells me everything I need to know.
Doesn't make me a bad person.
I never said it made you a bad person.
I just don't like the throwing of. I don't like the throwing of anything.
Okay.
I get tired of getting hit. I'll be honest with you.
That's fine. I understand it.
You know, especially when it gets wadded up and thrown.
Yeah, I mean the frozen tortillas out on that, the wadded up. That's fine. I mean, out.
I think it's time to do something different. But that's just me. You know.
Okay.
That's just me.
That's fine.
All right. So we're excited about basketball tonight.
We are.
Sunday.
That would be Sunday. Yeah.
And we're excited about no Cowboys this weekend, right? They're off this weekend.
They played Monday.
Oh, they
got the Bengals on Monday.
On Monday. Okay. I knew something was kind of weird about that.
So you are correct. They are off this weekend, but they play Monday.
Yeah. Okay. Chiefs and Chargers will play Sunday night. That works great with my schedule. That'll come to us from Arrowhead. We'll have that on 100.7 The Score on Sunday night.
It will be a radio game for me.
Because you're driving?
Yeah, back from
the Texas
Fort Worth
A&M game. Yeah.
There's going to be a lot going on Sunday because I think it'll be right around the time that game is going on is when we'll find out what bowl game Tech is in, or it'll be announced most likely. So
yeah, there's not
be a lot of people on their phones, and they've
really soured me. The NFL has with all these extra games, and you know, it's probably cleared up my afternoons some.
Extra games? What do you mean?
Well, like the Sunday night game and this Thursday game and the 2 games on Monday and all that kind of stuff.
The Sunday night game's always been there.
I know, but I just don't. I don't care for it. I'd rather the games be between noon and 6:30.
If there's one game I look forward to that's not the Cowboys every week, it's usually Sunday night because that's usually the best matchup.
Man, I gave up on this game last night. I didn't really. I was just monitoring. I wasn't like all over it. But, when it was 17-7, I'm like, oh, the Lions are just going to blow them out. And then the Packers come back and get back-to-back scores, actually take a lead of 21-17 at one point in time. Then the Lions take it back. Then the Packers take it back. Then the Lions take it back. Then the Packers tie it up. And then the Lions win on a Jake Bates 35-yard field goal. So they exchange field goals at the end. And as a result, Detroit wins the ball game. And they win 11 in a row. They're playoff eligible. They might be the best team in football right now.
Does it make me a bad Red Raider if I root for the Lions?
Why?
Because their head coach is an Aggie.
No, I see.
He was also a Dallas Cowboy. But.
See, I'm completely oppo on that kind of stuff. That once they get to the pros, if they're on my team, then I don't really care where they went to school. Like,
we don't claim Patrick Mahomes.
We do. I'm just saying I don't care. Like the Chiefs drafted the guy from Texas, Worthy. And I don't care that he came from Texas.
So the negative. So if it's a positive thing, you care, but if it's a negative thing, like if he's a Longhorn or Aggie, that's where the care goes out, right?
No. If he's on the Chiefs, I'm rooting for the Chiefs.
Okay.
I don't care where he went to college. I don't care if he went to A&M or Texas or Zimbabwe State. Okay, I don't care.
That's our second Zimbabwe.
If he contributes to the Chiefs, then I'm all in. I mean, I don't care where he went to college. I never have. But I've been more of an NFL guy over my life than I have been a college guy. I mean,
True.
I'll root for my teams. In my case, I root for Texas Tech and Kansas, and that's pretty well documented. And and if once they get to the NFL, if they're on my team, then I'm pro them. I'm not going to be anti Xavier Worthy because he went to, or whatever his name is. I think that's his name.
Yeah, you got it.
Just because he went to Texas, and with regard to, I like Dan Campbell. I'm not Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell's the Lions guy.
Yeah, Campbell. I like him. I think he's a good coach.
Yeah, I like him too, and that's what.
I don't care.
That's why I ask.
I don't care
because I am rooting for the Lions at this point. I want to see the Lions knock away history and go win a Super Bowl. Do something for those fans.
I don't want it to do it at the expense of the Chiefs, though.
Oh, sure. That's fine.
That's what I want.
That's fine. If there's going to be a team in the NFC that wins, I want them to be it.
Yeah.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.